Hey guys, that is chicken. Believe it or not, it's chicken out of one pan with green beans, mushrooms, cream sauce, and lots of cheese. It's really good. It's a Spanish influenced dish. Let's make it. There's a lot of stuff on the stove. That's going to make our dish. But let's talk about ingredients. We are going to do this all in one pan. But I want to start with wine. And we're going to use a white wine. It doesn't matter what wine you use. It doesn't have to be this. This is a Chenin Blanc that I opened last night. You can use a Chardonnay. You can use a Chablis. You can use a Sauvignon Blanc. That's fine. I wouldn't use a Riesling or anything sweet in that nature. Here's the thing. If you won't drink it, don't cook with it. So don't go out and buy cooking wine because it's going to have sulfites and additives in it, a lot of salts, and that's going to completely change the taste of your dish. So don't do that. Just use something you drink. In fact, it's a good reason to open a bottle of wine. All right, so we need some herbs. I've got a couple here. I've got some fresh basil. These I did not grow. Obviously, they're in packages. And some chives. Just pick those up at the old Walmart. We need some butter. Now, you can use whatever kind of butter you want. I like Chef Chamois garlic butter. I'm going to use some of that. We also need olive oil. I suggest you use a decent olive oil. This is a nice product from Aldi that is actually really good and not very expensive. Heavy whipping cream. It doesn't matter where you get it as long as you get heavy cream. That one's from Kroger. 1 yellow onion. 1 can of green beans. Yes, good old canned green beans. A bag. You're going to need, maybe a half a pound, but you can always use more, of shredded mozzarella. You can also shred it yourself if you prefer. Some Dijon mustard. I've got Grey Poupon. Some minced garlic. You can mince it yourself if you rather. Greek seasoning. I like Cavender's. You can use salt and pepper fresh into the dish. You can use it out of containers, whatever you want to do. But I like the blend from Kinder's with salt, pepper, and garlic. And then last but not least, our 2 proteins. I just sliced up a half a pound. It's only 8 ounces, but it fills up, of baby Bella mushrooms. You could also use white mushrooms. That's fine, but the baby Bellas have more flavor and they look better. And then I've got a couple of split boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I've cut into small cutlets. You could also use just breast tenders. That's fine as well. Let's get started. I just want to quickly say that how you should finish this dish is in the oven, like a broiler, but it's 103 degrees outside. I don't really feel like turning on my oven. With that said, I've got the pellet grill heating up, and we'll use it as an oven. I set it to 450, so it's got time to warm up. All right, so I've got my heat set on medium high, and the first thing I'm going to do is put in a little butter on the bottom and let that start to break up. As it does, I'm also going to take some basil. Don't need a lot, just a few leaves. And we're going to break those up and express them. Put them into the pan. I'm just letting the oil out of those leaves with a little bit of the garlic butter as the garlic butter breaks down. And then what I'm going to do is drop in my onions. And I obviously minced that yellow onion you saw before. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on taste. I'll use a teaspoon of Greek seasoning, and also about the same amount of the salt, pepper, and garlic. And now I'm going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil, not a lot, and let those onions start to saute. The onions have been sauteing for, maybe a minute and a half. And I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of the Dijon mustard. Now just work that in. You're going to get that really good smell coming out of there. And then we're going to dump in our mushrooms. And a couple of teaspoons, which is a couple of cloves of garlic. Work that all together. And we really want to work these mushrooms down. So I'm going to add a little white wine, and I'll probably add a little bit of the stock. Now, for this particular dish, I want a little bit of depth. So instead of using chicken stock, I'll probably use some beef stock, but you could use chicken stock. I'm going to deglaze the pan with some white wine. So it's been 2 or 3 minutes. You can see those mushrooms have really cooked down, which is exactly what I want them to do. And we're going to continue to cook them just a little bit more till they get to the point of being almost dry in the pan. I haven't added anything else yet, but I did make about a cup of light beef stock using Better Than Bouillon, and about half the quantity that you're supposed to use. After about 2 more minutes, I've got this where I want it. I'm going to just carefully lift the mushrooms out of the pan, trying to leave a little bit of their residue on the bottom. To that, we're going to add a little olive oil, maybe a teaspoon. Work it around. Turn the heat down just a little bit. And some white wine real quick to deglaze the bottom of the pan. Now we'll put our chicken in here. I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of butter again and flip the chicken over. To this, I'm going to add a little more of my Greek seasoning, maybe a teaspoon, and a little more of my salt, pepper, and garlic, about the same amount. And then I'm going to deglaze the pan again with a little bit of white wine. I mean, we're not talking much here, an ounce or 2 ounces each time we do that. Move that around. And now I'm going to put my beef stock in. And let that reduce on that chicken to about half of that volume before we do anything else. Okay, after about 5 or 6 minutes, your liquid should be reduced down to about half. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add our can of green beans. I'm just going to even them out a little bit. All right, a little bit of chives are up next. I'm just going to take these and just kind of break them into small segments. They don't have to be perfect. They're just going to go in there. And then we're going to put our mushroom mixture back into the pan and work that around to incorporate everything. Okay. And now I'm going to take some heavy cream, and you're going to use about a half a cup here. Just go around the outside like so. Do a couple of circles. That's enough that you can see the consistency change. That's about a half a cup. And then just kind of move it around so it mixes together. And then let this come back to a boil. Once this comes back up to a boil, I'm going to let it cook and reduce at a pretty high heat for about 5 to 6 minutes, enough that comes down about a third of the way. So we want about 2/3 of that liquid left. It'll take a few minutes. Just let it do its thing. Don't mess around with it. Once in a while you can move it like this, but don't go in there and start trying to fix everything, because all you're going to do is stop the process of reduction. All right, it's had a few minutes to reduce and thicken. You can see the liquid is quite a bit less than it was, and it's kind of building a cream around it. That's exactly what I want. So what I'm going to do now is Cheez-It. So we're just going to lay cheese over the top and turn the heat off. Well, it's summertime in Kansas. It was 103 today. The wind finally stopped. Now it's cloudy, and it looks like it's going to rain. Welcome to Kansas. Anyway, let's open this up. Running 465 right now. So we're going to drop this in here. And let it bake. And I'm going to cook this at this heat for about 15 to 20 minutes max. It's going to reduce all of that. It's also going to incorporate everything together. Again, you can do this in an oven. It's fine. I normally would. But it's 100 degrees. I don't want the oven on in the house. Well, it's hot out here, and it's even hotter by this grill. I'm going to turn it off and open it up. It's been 17 minutes. Oh my goodness, does that look good. Now this is really hot, so I'm not going to mess around with it for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, go set it on a trivet and let it cool. Making some rice in the meantime, and we'll serve it up. Well, we got done in the nick of time. It is pitch black. The wind is going crazy, and it is starting to pour down rain outside, so close. Let's plate it up. So I've got some steamed rice, obviously just made. It's still steaming. I'm just going to pull a piece of this chicken out of here with the cheese. I'm just going to set it down on the rice. And at this point, most of the liquid is gone. It cooks off while it's in the final process of baking. And there it is. I got a lot of extra cheese to deal with. So I'm going to add a little of these green beans on the top just for some color. So if that looks like something you'd like to eat, all you got to do is drop me a line for more information. Bill@kansasflamingochef.com. Eat and drink fabulous. If there's something you'd like me to make, let me know. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Have a great day.